The desert wind moves differently in Anthony, New Mexico. It doesn't just pass through the dry land, it lingers, it whispers. And standing quietly beneath that endless sky is Gadsden High School. An ordinary building, at least on the outside. Red bricks, long hallways, classrooms filled with chatter during the day. Lockers slam, bells ring, students laugh, life moves on as it always does. But when the final bell rings and the buses pull away, something changes. The silence that follows isn't empty, it's heavy. It's as if the walls themselves are holding their breath. Teachers have spoken about it in hushed voices. Students joke about it nervously. Custodians, they don't joke at all, because they are the ones who stay behind. They are the ones who hear the footsteps when no one is there, the whispers when the halls are empty. And the truth? Gadsden High School doesn't just belong to the living, it belongs to those who never left. Stories have circulated for decades, stories of figures walking late at night, of voices echoing from places that should be sealed, of shadows that move against the light. But among all these stories, 3 stand out. 3 spirits, 3 tragedies, 3 souls that still roam the halls, the classrooms, and the darkness beneath the school. And if you listen carefully, you might hear them too.
Her name is Anna. At least that's what people call her. No official record confirms her story completely. No document tells the full truth. But in schools like this, truth doesn't always live in books. It lives in whispers. Anna's story is one of mystery and pain. Some say she was a student, just like any other girl. Quiet, perhaps, maybe kind, maybe someone who never expected her life to end inside the very place she came to learn. But how she died? That's where the stories split. One version is dark, brutal. They say she was forced into the basement, a place already feared even during the day, a place where lights flicker and shadows stretch too far. According to this story, 2 boys followed her there. What happened next is something no one wants to imagine. And when it was over, she never came back. Another version is quieter, but no less tragic. They say Anna walked into a classroom on the 2nd floor, alone, broken, silent. And there she ended her own life. No screams, no witnesses, just silence. But regardless of which story is true, one fact remains unchanged. Anna never left. Students have seen her, not once, not twice, but many times. She doesn't run, she doesn't scream, she doesn't attack. She walks, back and forth across the campus, through the halls, sometimes outside, sometimes inside, and sometimes through walls. Witnesses say she moves as if she doesn't recognize the boundaries of the world anymore, as if doors, walls, and time itself mean nothing to her. She simply walks, endlessly, as though searching for something or someone.
It was late afternoon, the kind of afternoon where the sun begins to fade, casting long shadows across the empty school grounds. 2 girls stood at the bus stop, waiting. The building behind them was quiet, dark, lifeless. School had ended and most students had already gone home. But something made them look up, toward the 2nd floor, toward the far north corner. And that's when they saw her, a girl standing at the window, dressed in white, completely still. The room behind her was dark, pitch black, no lights, no movement, nothing. But she She was glowing. Not like a reflection, not like a trick of light. She was illuminated, as if she carried her own light within her. The girls froze. Their hearts raced. Their minds struggled to understand what they were seeing. Was it a person? A student who stayed behind? No. There was something wrong, something unnatural. Because she wasn't just standing there. She was looking directly at them. Not moving, not blinking, just watching. Time seemed to slow down. Seconds felt like minutes. And then she was gone. No movement, no turning away. Just gone. The window was empty. Dark again, as if nothing had ever been there. The girls didn't speak. They didn't need to, because they both knew they had just seen Anna.
Yearbooks are meant to preserve memories, smiles, achievements, moments of youth frozen in time. But sometimes they capture more than they should. There's a particular yearbook at Gadsden High School that students whisper about. At first glance, it looks normal. Pages filled with familiar faces, sports teams posing proudly in front of the school, laughter frozen in black and white. But then, there's that one photograph. The boys' basketball team. They sit in front of the school building, lined up neatly, confident, proud. But behind them, there's someone else. A girl, standing just behind the players. Not part of the team, not listed anywhere on the page, not mentioned in any caption. And yet, she's there, wearing white. Her expression unreadable, her presence impossible. Some believe it's a printing error, a double exposure, a mistake. But others, they know better, because they've seen her, walking the halls, standing in windows, watching. And some say she isn't just there by accident. She's there for a reason. To remind, to accuse, to never let certain people forget what happened to her.
If the upper floors belong to Anna, then the basement belongs to something else, something darker, something desperate. The basement of Gadsden High School is not a place students like to go. Even during the day, it feels wrong. The air is colder, heavier. The lights flicker more often, and the silence feels alive. But the real fear begins in December, late December, when the year is ending and the nights grow longer. There's a story about a janitor, a man who worked quietly, diligently, someone who knew every corner of the school. One winter, sometime in the late 1970s or early 1980s, he went down into the basement and he never came back. They say he became trapped, locked in, alone. No one heard him, no one found him, and by the time anyone realized he was missing, it was too late. He had died down there, but death didn't take him away, because even today people hear him. If you stand near the railing by the concession stand, and if it's late December, and if you're quiet enough, you might hear it. A voice, faint, weak, calling out, "Help!" It echoes through the darkness, desperate, pleading, as if he's still trapped, still waiting, still hoping someone will hear him and finally set him free. But he's not alone. There's another voice, smaller, softer, a boy. A young boy who entered the basement on a dare, laughing, fearless, trying to prove himself. But the basement doesn't care about courage. It doesn't care about dares. He got lost, trapped, alone, just like the janitor. And just like the janitor, he never came back. Now his voice joins the darkness, crying, calling, begging. Two souls lost in the same place, separated by time, but united in tragedy.
Gadsden High School teaches many things: math, science, history. But for those who listen, it teaches something else, something deeper, something unsettling. Because within its walls are stories that refuse to fade. Anna, still walking, still searching. The janitor, still calling for help. The boy, still lost in the dark. These are not just ghost stories, they are echoes, fragments of lives that ended too soon, moments that never found closure. And perhaps that's why they remain. Not to scare, not to haunt, but to be remembered, to be acknowledged, to be heard. Because sometimes the dead don't leave. Not because they want to stay, but because something is still unfinished. So if you ever find yourself near Gadsden High School, if you ever walk those halls after dark, if you ever feel that strange, heavy silence, don't ignore it. Listen, look, and remember, you might not be alone. Because in that quiet building, under the desert sky, the past is still alive and it's still watching.